430 hours, September 2nd, 2025. Eastern Caribbean Sea. They're moving fast. Target is closing on 40 knots. Two cartel boats push past 40 knots loaded with cocaine. They think no one sees them. But miles away, a U.S. Coast Guard cutter locks onto their signal. And in the next few minutes, everything changes. The radio crackled to life, a low-frequency alert slicing through the engine hum aboard the U.S. CGC Stone, one of the U.S. Coast Guard's most advanced cutters, engaged in Operation Pacific Viper, a sustained high-intensity counter-drug patrol through the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. On deck, sailors snapped awake, adrenaline instantly flooding their systems. The sun was still hours from rising, but this was already go time. To stay informed on what happened next, hit like and subscribe. It's free, and your support helps us bring the truth. Tracking the Cobra. For days, Coast Guard intelligence analysts had been tracking an unusual radar contact, a pair of go-fast vessels known for smuggling cocaine and other hard drugs from South America toward North American markets. These aren't slow fishing boats. They're narrow, sleek, reinforced hulls slapped with powerful engines that can sprint at sea like desert racers on water. On this crisp morning, that contact was confirmed by satellite and airborne radar strobes, painting a live tracking silhouette on the command center screens. From a cockpit hundreds of feet overhead, a Coast Guard C-130 Hercules turned its nose into the wind, trailing the suspected smuggler boats across open water. Meanwhile, the cutter's radar locked them in, cross-referenced with DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, Intel, and Maritime Patrol aircraft data. This wasn't luck. It was technology, training, and sheer persistence. The Watchtower of the Seas. At the Stone's Combat Information Center, CIC, sonar and marine surveillance feeds painted a clear picture of the two fast movers. Operators whispered as they watched vector lines converge. One craft was loaded low in the water, a telltale sign of heavy cargo. Intelligence chatter hinted at 20,000 plus pounds of cocaine, destined for U.S. streets. In the CIC, a petty officer murmured into the comm system, "They're not just fast, they're desperate." And that meant one thing: once visual contact was made, the chase would be intense. What they were carrying. These go-fast vessels are designed to defy interdiction. Their low profile and blistering speed let them run quiet, hauling masses of illicit drugs worth hundreds of millions, contraband that translates into deadly addictions and untold violence ashore. On this run, Coast Guard Intel estimated over 20,000 pounds of cocaine, enough to devastate entire communities if it reached American streets. Hit like and subscribe to discover what happened next in this video. It's free, and your support means a lot to us. The escape attempt. By dawn, the horizon flared with orange. From a distance came the silhouettes of two sleek boats rocking at sea, jet-black shapes cutting through rolling waves. As the Stone's onboard optics locked eyes on the targets, the cartel crews realized they were spotted. In an instant, the tranquil ocean became a battleground of strategy. The lead smuggler boat threw shade and grit into the wind, engines screaming as it pushed to outpace the Coast Guard cutter's wake. 35, 40, 45 knots, faster than many ships twice its size could manage. These drivers were seasoned, ready to gamble everything for a fraction of success. But they were up against more than raw engine power. On board the cutter, specialized marksmanship units prepared. These are not ordinary sailors. These are HITRON, Helicopter Interdiction Tactical Squadron. Sharpshooters trained for maritime engagements at sea. Helicopters lifted off with penetrating rotors slicing the dawn, ready to intercept and maneuver alongside these fleeing boats. Go fast vessel ahead, bearing 030, the helicopter interdiction team reported, speed closing. The drug boats veered suddenly, spray-carving arcs of white foam attempting to throw off tracking and possibly lose pursuit behind heavy seas. But the Coast Guard cutter moved methodically, its hull cutting through waves as deadly calm commanders issued orders. Continue pursuit. Prepare for non-compliance tactics. Communication went out loud and clear over maritime radio. U.S. Coast Guard vessel, stop your engines. Prepare to be boarded. No response came. The interdiction. Time was tight. The chase lasted nearly an hour, forces converging, waves crashing, engines roaring. But this wasn't a mindless slap fight. It was precision maritime law enforcement at its most intense. From the air, Hitron snipers targeted rudder and propulsion systems, not people. A single, expert shot clipped the lead boat's steering mechanism. Engines cut erratically. The boat skidded, flung sideways, slamming into a rogue swell. "Engage! Disabling fire!" the lead marksman called. Another shot cracked through the engine block. Both boats, now crippled, lost balance. In another scene of seafaring police drama captured on Coast Guard cameras that later went viral, one of the suspected drug boats began to burn and buckle under controlled actions from Coast Guard sniper teams. Flames licked the hull. Small but deliberate controlled shots meant to stop the vessel's ability to flee without risking crew lives more than necessary. Within minutes, both fast movers came to stop. But wait. This is where headline warships often take over. In some larger operations, which blur law enforcement with military escalation, U.S. Navy assets have carried out lethal strikes on alleged cartel vessels, notably in the Eastern Pacific and Caribbean in late 2025, with multiple boats destroyed and casualties reported. Those strikes, part of a broader campaign known as Operation Southern Spear, extended beyond Coast Guard boarding tactics to kinetic military action against suspected narco-trafficking fleets. On September 2, 2025, for example, a U.S. military strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug vessel killed 11 people, drawing international attention and intense debate over legality and tactics. To stay informed on what happened next, hit like and subscribe. It's free, and your support helps us bring the truth. Back on the water. This specific Coast Guard interdiction remained within law enforcement norms. No loss of life, no battlefield devastation. Crew teams swung aboard the disabled vessels on rope ladders, high-risk boardings that bring their own peril. The smell of diesel and salt filled the air as coasties shouted orders in Spanish. Cartel boat crew surrendered, hands raised, eyes wide at the sudden reversal of luck. In the end, the seized contraband was transferred back to the Stone. 7 suspected smugglers were apprehended and readied for transport to U.S. jurisdiction. Nearly 13,000 pounds of cocaine were confirmed offloaded, worth hundreds of millions in street value, prevented from ever poisoning communities. Videos from this operation hit social media within hours, the Coast Guard captioning them, "Captured, disabled, mission success." The message was clear. The Coast Guard doesn't just patrol, it hunts. It uses advanced radar, airborne assets, tactical units, and sheer maritime discipline to cut off the sea routes of transnational traffickers. Their methods range from lawful commands and high-speed tactical pursuit to disabling fire, always calibrated to preserve life when possible.